The second stop on the 2023 World Pro Ski Tour made its visit to Bear Valley. Located in the central Sierra Mountains between Lake Tahoe and Yosemite. Founded in 1855, it was originally known as Grizzly Bear Valley. The Bear Valley Ski Company was founded in 1991, and by 2013, Bear Valley had undergone an extensive revitalization that exists today. Bear Valley, known for its rich racing history, was a perfect destination for the World Pro Ski Tour. But a combination of snow and wind created a challenging and yet exciting weekend of pro racing. In this edition of Life in Between Gates, we feature two of the World Pro Ski Tour's top-ranked racers. After a second-place finish in 2022 at the World Pro Ski Championships in the men's Super Slalom, Miha Kerner looks to make 2023 his breakthrough year on tour. On the women's side, Milzinski steamrolled the competition at Steamboat Springs with first and second-place finishes. We'll also recap the inaugural Mazda Far West Pro Classic. It all comes your way next on Life in Between Gates.
For more than half a century, Seiko has been supporting athletes in their efforts to be the best. Now, we want to bring this reliable technology to anyone striving for a goal. Because we understand, a split second can change everything. Keep going forward. Prospex.
Introducing the first ever Mazda CX-50.
Life in Between Gates is brought to you by Clicker, Celsius, Seiko, Mazda, and Taos, home of the 2023 World Pro Ski Tour World Championships.
I'm John Franklin, CEO of the World Pro Ski Tour and Ski Racing Media. We're here in historic Bear Valley for the second stop of the 2023 World Pro Ski Tour. This is a historic valley because the tour came here back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but we haven't been here in 30 years. It was the site of epic battles between triple Olympic gold medalist Jean-Claude Keely, guys like Spider Savage, Billy Kidd, and all the historic names of skiing, the iconic names. And we're back here for a giant slalom today and a super slalom tomorrow, both men and women.
A native of Slovenia, this 36-year-old veteran grew up on skis. A national champion in the giant slalom, Kerner has competed around the world and now wants to show the World Pro Ski Tour even a cagey veteran still has what it takes.
My name is Miha Kerner. I've been skiing for over 30 years for sure. I mean, I started when I think I never skipped a season, honestly, in my life after they, put me on skis for the first time. I've been racing since I was 7. And it's just the best. I can't remember the day I fell in love with it. It's just always there. It's almost like it's been hardwired to my brain or something. But it's been. I mean, Slovenia was alpine skiing was one of the most popular, if not the most popular sport for a while, especially in the 80s and 90s. And I was growing up when we had very successful generations of skiers. It was on TV all the time. Every weekend I remember watching World Cups. So that was really the number one sport I was exposed to. So I think it's just, I guess, you pick it up like that. I would say my father was he was the enthusiast. He was never a racer. He was a ski instructor and just loved skiing, honestly. He was in love with skiing generally. And I have a sister. I actually have 2 sisters and 1 brother, but my older sister was a ski racer as well. She was very good. We grew up doing the same thing together. She's actually just a year older than me, so it was a group family affair like this. But it was like my mom wasn't really a ski racer at all, actually, and my father as well. So it was more just a love for the sport, and then it happened, and then all right, why wouldn't you just be a skier? And then I was a skier. We have amazing mountains in Slovenia. It's crazy. It's like the best of the Alps come right into the northwest part of the Slovenia, and it's like a little bit of Dolomites mixed with actual Alps, and it's amazing. Everything is there. They are tiny resorts compared to other big resorts, but they have the heart, they have the soul. As a kid, we used to actually go for a spring vacation to Val Thorens or Tin, which are 2 huge resorts. Probably one of the biggest resorts that I was ever exposed to as a kid, and it's literally like this. Especially for me, for some reason, I'm really bad with orientation. I could get lost on those hills. To me, it was like all right, this is a true experience. It's almost like an adventure. Will I even find my family at the end of the day? I hope so. But that type of skiing. So let's say that's what France offers, and I love it. And then later, when I started doing World Cups a lot, I for some reason fell in love with Scandinavia. Both the beginning and the end of the season. The beginning, I really liked a little nocturnal, very short day, but lights and darker, colder. For some reason, I love it. Levi, Finland, one of my favorite places. And then I've been to Åre in Sweden in the spring, which was the longest day and the nicest spring conditions. And so can't choose what my favorite place is. I can only say that it's like music, and it depends on how I feel. I studied sports science for a coach, and I went to Ljubljana, University of Ljubljana. It's called the Faculty of Sports, where I got my bachelor's degree in sports training, and it was probably the best experiences I've had in terms of actually understanding anything about sports. I thought every other fool in this sport, I could say, when you're a professional athlete, you think you know, but I think you know everything, but then you actually discover how little you know, and it helped me a ton. It was an eye-opener for me, honestly, the whole education on understanding sports in general, and specifically alpine skiing. I knew I was going to be a coach after my career, and I just was shooting CVs out, and it was funny. Ski Club Vail was just immediately responding to my request, and I just told my wife, hey, why don't we just, would you leave your perfect job here and go with me and start from scratch? And luckily enough, she was ready to do that. And now we're here, that's our 4th season, and it's amazing. We left all our family and friends behind, and we came here. Actually, it connected us, me and my wife, much more than I think it would ever if we stayed in Slovenia. Honestly, all we had was each other, and it's still like that. So if I'm not skiing, I'm actually hanging out with her and doing. I like to actually get involved with, if she lets me, get involved with, because she's a graphic designer and she did this T-shirt, and she does all the design for the World Pro Ski Tour as well, and I like that part. I like to draw, I like to illustrate, and whenever she feels like I can maybe help, she lets me, and then we work together, and it's the best time. So lately, that's how I spend time with her, doing stuff that she does, and it's really good. I really enjoy that, and like I said, I don't think we would be disconnected if we wouldn't come to the US.
Hey, Miha, how are you feeling today?
Feeling good, feeling ready. Yeah, excited. Honestly, looks really legit. The whole thing, water, surface, icy, steep jumps, everything. Yeah, very excited. Trying to not to think about the results, but how to get there. Trying to think about just executing the game plan. Yeah, focusing on that. The big thing is definitely the jumps, trying to nail the landing and then the line into the next turn. There's a couple of good swings in there, so trying to be in a good position and move through the turn technically correct, not to freeze and then just be fluid and smooth, and nailing the jumps and then dialing in those turns. That's how I look at it. Everyone can have a good day, and you just don't know who's that guy gonna beat today. So I don't know.
All right, this is Nick Cohey, former World Cup skier, current 2-time Dad of the Year, giving you the Surefoot course report. Okay, you gotta pick up the outside ski because it's pretty firm, really disciplined body position. As you come into the jump, you really gotta be disciplined. Adjust your speed a little bit, otherwise you fly too far, land hard. You can really take advantage of these turns in here. And same kind of thing, jump the speed a little bit, land, and then really rip all the way to the bottom. Carry some speed. Last jump, no problem. Reach for the finish. This is Nick Cohey. That was the Surefoot course report.
When we return to life in between gates, we sit down with Steamboat's 2023 Moose Barrels winner, Aaron Milzinski. A native of Ontario, Canada, Aaron Milzinski has raced competitively since 2009. A veteran of 3 Winter Olympics and 5 World Cup championships, Milzinski has come out of the gate strong with a 1st and 2nd place finish in Steamboat Springs. Looking to take that momentum into Bear Valley, Milzinski is a force to be reckoned with. She's looking for a repeat performance in 2023.
My first race with the World Pro Ski Tour was in Taos at World Champs last year. That was a tough race to start with because it was a stacked race, but it was tough for me personally because I had decided to retire from World Cup racing, but I hadn't told anyone yet. And to be honest, I don't think I was ready or prepared or really wanted to stand in a start gate that soon after deciding to retire. It was a hard race for me. I wanted to race fast, but also I had a lot of emotions in that race. And so throughout the summer, I kind of was waiting to see how I would feel, and the guys at Sports Insurance, they stepped in and they're like, what if we pay your way? What if we make this possible? What if we sponsor you? You can create a team, which for me, of course, as soon as team is mentioned, it's more fun. It's been really fun this year. It was really amazing in Steamboat. I love that it's athlete-centered, athletes first, athletes supporting athletes. You know, you want to like the people that you work with. So that's why it's really cool with Sports Insurance with this Pro Tour, because what they're trying to do and how they're trying to support this women's tour and try to bolster it and try to support the athletes and make sure that they feel that way. And every time they say, you know, go have fun, we'll take care of the rest later. When I started talking to them, we wanted 2 women, 2 men on our team. And things kind of started rolling and everything, and the first person I asked was Caitlin, because she was really nice to me in Taos. She's a great person, she's super fast, and I really wanted to be part of a team with someone that felt like, you know, a little sister or something. And so I asked her, and she was available, and we started this team, and this kind of became really special because all of a sudden we're a team of just women, which is the first team in, you know, decades. But then when she couldn't make it here, I want sports insurance to be promoted, and I want them to be out there for sure, but I also want a teammate here because that's really special to me, to be part of something bigger. And that's part of the reason why I'm here. And so when I heard Tuva was going, I said, hey, can we add Tuva to our roster? Can she be part of our team? And as soon as the guys started talking to her, they're like, let's bring her on for the rest of the season. And so there is a possibility for us to sweep because we're now 3 girls. I think it's the start of something really cool. And I mean, I love those girls, and I just kind of started to get to know them, but it feels like kindred spirits, which is what you get when you're on a team. And so I always want to be part of a team.
Erin's someone who I kind of came up through the development team and the national team with. We had our first World Cup podiums in the same year. And so we kind of progressed up through the ranks together. And so it's awesome to see her doing this now. And it's fun to have her around. Last year at Taos was her first race, and for her to start doing this full time has been super cool.
In Taos, I didn't do as well as I wanted to. I actually don't even remember. I know I was at the celebration, so I think maybe 4th the second day. I don't think I was on the podium the first day. I was quite disappointed because I was coming off of World Cup. Like, I should have been ready for that, and I didn't do that well. Heading into Steamboat, I was really nervous, really, really nervous. I was counting down the days because the jumps are scary, and I hadn't really trained, and I didn't know how my body would hold up, and I had some issues with my body after I retired, and so I was kind of worried. That first day I was super nervous, but I just tried to just ski. I tried to arc the turns, have a flat ski over the jumps. I was not nailing the starts. My last run that day I was disappointed in myself because I barged and then I slipped with my pole and it put me at a disadvantage, and then I actually backed off too early. You should never back off, but I backed off too early, so I was a bit frustrated with myself. And so the next day I think I spent, I don't know, an hour in the start with those start guys, just doing start after start after start. I think I did, 20 maybe more starts that day, and so I felt my start was better and I had more control over what I was doing. I definitely felt less scared, but the whole experience was really fun. It was definitely way more enjoyable than Taos, just because emotionally I was in a better place to step back in the start gate. In retirement, you don't feel that power and strength that often, whereas I used to feel it every day. And when I race the Pro Tour, I get to feel powerful and strong each and every run, and so that was really cool to have that feeling again. I always promised myself that skiing had to be fun and racing had to be fun, so if I'm having fun, you'll probably see me back here.
Erin is amazing. I mean, she's very advanced with her thinking. I think she's very educated and compassionate and smart, and just generally really a really cool person that really kind of just blows your mind sometimes. You actually don't expect that from an athlete, and she is like that, which to me is very profound and very good.
I've spent so many years competing at such a high level that this is different for me, and I want this to be different. But of course there's amazing skiers. You know, as soon as the World Cup girls are going to come down, it's going to be really, really high level, but it's cool because it is high level. And Tuva and I were talking about that yesterday, that we'll try our best and we'll give everyone a run for their money if we can. And I think that's what's really cool about the Pro Tour, that, I mean, everyone has a shot, you just can't back down. We're all good enough no matter how we do, and we're friends. And also, if we're going to bolster the circuit and have more girls racing, why not make it fun and supportive? And that's what we need as females in the industry. A lot of girls root for each other and want each other to do well, and I think it's because we know how hard it is to have success, and we also know how sad it is when you don't do well. A lot has changed in the past year, and it's been a tough year full of transitioning, but the people who have stuck with me through the ups and downs, through the professional ski racing and now the Pro Tour, and through everything in between, it's those people that I want to have by my side. I wish they were here with me today, but they're the ones that make it all happen. They're family, whether that's a sponsor or my family or my friends, they are family.
she is going to take her run just to stay warm and get some experience to see how the courses are running.
Yeah, so what she wants to do, I'm sure, is try to figure out how to nail these jumps. Turns, no problem for these top athletes.
Smooth run.
Yeah, she's one of the, skis just looks like it's effortless.
When we return, Bear Valley in the eyes of the racers.
In general, ski racing is a pretty tough sport.
Racers ready?
Using my DNA vibe has allowed me to train harder, longer, and recover faster. Less days off, more time on the snow, beating my competitors. Having another option to be doing what we love and to continue to race, it just keeps the sport open and keeps you in it.
For more than half a century, Seiko has been supporting athletes in their efforts to be the best. Now, we want to bring this reliable technology to anyone striving for a goal. Because we understand, a split second can change everything. Keep going forward. Prospex.
Here is a place situated off the map of ordinary, a place that is independent, free-spirited, and intimate in scale. A place that since its first lift was installed over 60 years ago has strived to stay true to its roots while growing better rather than bigger. This vision for the future has helped make us the first ski resort in the world to earn B Corp certification. It's a symbol of where we're headed and what we stand for. We hope you will join us.
Introducing the first ever Mazda CX-50.
I like with the clicker that you can go from portrait to landscape.
Clicker, the official wireless accessory of the World Pro Ski Tour. Attached to the back of the phone, it stands upright. It's wonderful. I'm using it. I love it. Thank you, Clicker.
What we love about Clicker is it helps us take our really cute selfies on race day. Smile!
Yeah, what I love about the Clicker is that I can stand at the bottom of any course, have a stable hold of my phone, even take fingers off, and kind of get good perspective on what I can expect for my upcoming race. It's also a multi-season tool. It's definitely going to be out in the golf course with me, teaching me how bad my swing is, how to fix my slice. Pretty cool.
Hi everyone, let me introduce to you Clicker. It's a grip accessory, top of the line. You're able to prop up your phone on the back, you unclick it and click it into place. It will hold vertical, horizontal, frees up your hand so you're able to just take great photos, great videos, frees up your hand overall so you're able just to hold your phone upright. Clicker. Follow us on Instagram, Clicker Official.
I'm John Franklin, CEO of the World Pro Ski Tour and Ski Racing Media. We were super excited to come to Bear Valley, California. It's an area with a lot of history. Events were held here in the late 60s and early 70s, all the way through the 90s. The celebrities of the 60s and 70s all came to Bear Valley. And at the time, it was called the Little Switzerland of California. So for us to return here sort of cements the legacy of Bear Valley as the perfect host for the World Pro Ski Tour.
I think the locals are really happy that we're here. They keep thanking us for being here, but I think what it is it's just a good time for the town to come together. It's cool for us, but a good time for the town to come together and show what Bear Valley is, because it's a really cool place to be.
It's reinvigorating. It just breathes new life into our little mountain. It's fantastic.
Here at Bear Valley, I really like the place.
I mean, from day one, Bear Valley has been amazing. The snowbanks are huge. I think they've had over 20 feet of snow this year, and so it's really cool. The locals have been so kind to us.
It feels like a real community-based area.
It's a 40-mile long community. We've got one road basically that's a corridor from Angels Camp to Bear Valley, and everybody all along the corridor has to pull together for something like this.
Here at the Pro Tour, I think it's really cool that we get to know everyone around the whole tour.
It feels like just an entire weekend of fun stuff. There's an opening party, and there's the race, and there's the after party, there's the evening party. So there's always something going on, which I think makes for a great experience.
70 bars last night, it was fun,
The atmosphere was amazing. The costumes were incredible. A lot of athletes were there, and it was a good vibe.
It was great. There was some great food, and there was some dancing, and people were just having a good time. So overall, it was a great day from start to finish.
At the Pro Tour, it's like a big family. It's so nice to hang around with those guys.
There's a lot of camaraderie, and so I think that lends itself to a little more fun.
It really makes the Pro Tour so special, because I feel like we're a Pro Tour family.
Having fun before the race, after the race, but then in the race, that's just pure fight.
When it comes down to it, it is a serious race, and once you're in the start gate, people are locked in.
I feel like the Pro Tour just makes skiing way more fun again. It's inspiring in its own right, and shows a holistic way of life as well, because it's not just about skiing, it's about skiing and après and having fun and friends, and so it's a really special thing to be a part of.
Coming up next, part 2 of our sit down with Miha Kerner.
I've been on the Pro Tour circuit. This is my 3rd season. My first year was 2019, and we were just having some races with the group that I was coaching at that time at Eldora, and right that weekend, right after our races, there was a Pro Tour race. I had no equipment, nothing with me, and I was like, why didn't I bring stuff? Why didn't I sign up for this? Called my wife in Vail. It's like a 2.5 hour drive. And of course, it always happens like this. Whenever my wife needs to get into a car, it's a snowstorm. And she doesn't like snowstorms and driving, on these huge roads with huge trucks surrounding her in our little car. And it was snowing bad. And I just told her, hey, pick my skis up, bring my helmet. I think I'm gonna do this race, and I did it, and it was really out of the bat. I wasn't preparing or training for it. I was out a little bit, and it was good. I made it to the round of 8, and I knew it. I said, all right, my bones might feel a little old, but it was actually on the contrary. I felt great. I felt right back in like riding a bike, and I said, all right, I'm gonna try and do every race that I can in the future, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm still doing this. And I call it a calibration as well, in a way, because when you coach and when we talk and you get away from the actual racing, things change, and you always want to try something new, and coaches like to preach a lot. So I bring my stuff here with me, and on the side while I'm racing, I'm also practicing what I'm preaching, and it's awesome. It's been the best experience. Everybody knows that I like to talk about coaching, and I really do. And it is incredibly important to me. It's probably it keeps me up at night. It keeps me wondering, how can I paint a picture to someone? How can I help someone get better? How can I help myself get better even at this age? It's a detective work, I swear. You have to get yourself into the position of whoever you're coaching. You got to put his boots on in your mind, and you got to put his skin on, and then try to understand what's happening. And you really got to, treat each one as an individual, and then tailor the entire thing to him. But what strikes me most is that if you have a structure, and if you follow fundamental methodology of teaching, if you create it, let's say I think this is one of the most important things. You really gotta create a clear picture of where you are and where you wanna be and how do you wanna get there. I claim that it doesn't matter how old you are, you can learn. As long as you can find a method and follow the procedure, you will learn, you will change, and you will become better. And it's just amazing to watch that. So yeah, coaching to me is everything. Honestly, it's very personal, precisely because how I made it in the World Cup was, like I said earlier, I made it late. I wasn't making it actually by the book. I grew. I remember one year I was probably around 17 years old. I, for some reason, grew over the summer, and voila, I didn't know how to ski GS anymore. And before that, it was the most natural thing I could think of. And after that, the most unnatural thing I could think of. And it took me forever to actually change skiing. And it took years at college and years with ski instructors in Slovenia to really get the education and really get the broad spectrum of things So I say this every year. I mean, I'm skiing right now better than I ever was, even if my physical state is not as it was when I was 25 or 20 or something. It's that important in alpine skiing. Pro Tour racing is extremely intense. The difference between, let's say, you gotta bring 10 runs or more, and you gotta go all out on every single one of those runs, and you gotta nail it. Now, normally on a World Cup race, you do, let's say in tech events, 2 runs, in speed events, 1 run. Of course, they are different. There's different intensity. But here, I swear to God, this is much more like, let's say, a tennis match, especially because of the element of, let's say, your peripheral vision, where you're skiing down the hill and the guy next to you shows up like that, right there. And that's just another factor that can actually alter your technique or your approach or we tend to then make mistakes because of it. It's really much harder to actually keep the focus even though, there's something happening right next to you. So I love the format. I think it should be on a regular, I think the World Pro Ski Tour should actually go global. I think it's very interesting. This is head to head. You actually see what's happening. I love it. And it's very demanding on the body. One thing you can definitely take away from Pro Tour ski racing or head to head format racing when you teach other athletes ski is that if you even think for a split second less, if you want to defend something, if you want to save your skin, or if you want to be more tactical about your approach, you're out. Boom. The guy, even if he has the biggest, if you have the biggest amount of advantage you can have on him, you will blow this out of the window immediately if you start. So you gotta literally approach each run as if it's the final run, and that's what athletes actually must learn. That you gotta bring this intensity in the gates every race. There's no room for anything else.
To the top we go. This is Drew Duffy on the blue course. Over on the red course, Miha Kerner, the 33-year-old, coaching out of Vail from Slovenia. Watch the lights. Back in the tails of the skis, out on track they go. Kerner and Duffy, both very experienced athletes on this tour, pretty much head-to-head, coming out even. Oh, Duffy goes a little bit low there. Kerner takes advantage of it. I think he's got about an edge, about a ski's length. They touch down. Duffy, Kerner, all kinds of sideways. Duffy takes advantage of that now. Starts to pull away on Kerner. Miha trying to stay focused. That's so important. Stay focused on your own course.
And Kerner touches down the red course. Sideways. Oh, that second jump on the red course side, giving people fits all day. That's going to be Drew Duffy with a max differential of a 6.00. Here we go back to the top of the next pair. It's Drew Duffy with a 0.6 advantage over Miha Kerner.
Duffy on the red out of Warren, Vermont. And on the blue, had a tough kick out of there with Miha Kerner for 33 from Slovenia. Tough start for Kerner.
So, well, it's, he just gave it up there. Kerner goes off. It's going to be Duffy for the solo finish. So on will go Duffy. So Ketterer will be facing Duffy. So we advance these guys into the next bracket.
Yeah, and we'll take a peek back as to what went south there for Kerner. He was up against the ropes as it was. He had to make up some significant time. And from the beginning, it just was not a winning situation for Miha Kerner. So you'll see Duffy, he's out first, right? And then barging, he put all his energy into that start.
Well, what you got to do when Duffy had 0.6 of advantage on the first run, you need to time it as best you can. He got anxious, got caught up in it, and he knew at that point, he just made a mistake.
When we return to Life in Between Gates, it's part 2 of our interview with Canadian Aaron Milzinski.
In general, ski racing is a pretty tough sport.
Racers ready?
Using my DNA vibe has allowed me to train harder, longer, and recover faster. Less days off, more time on the snow, beating my competitors. Having another option to be doing what we love and to continue to race, it just keeps the sport open and keeps you in it.
For more than half a century, Seiko has been supporting athletes in their efforts to be the best. Now, we want to bring this reliable technology to anyone striving for a goal. Because we understand, a split second can change everything. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Here is a place situated off the map of ordinary, a place that is independent, free-spirited, and intimate in scale. A place that since its first lift was installed over 60 years ago has strived to stay true to its roots while growing better rather than bigger. This vision for the future has helped make us the first ski resort in the world to earn B Corp certification. It's a symbol of where we're headed and what we stand for. We hope you will join us.
Retired from the World Cup, came over to the Pro Tour, and she's just killing it.
I mean, Erin Milzinski just retired last year, so she's basically just still going, and you can see how dominant she's been on the women's tour. Just respect and admiration for the way she still skis and for her career on the World Cup and what she's doing on the Pro Tour right now as well. It's just really amazing.
So dominant in Steamboat Springs, Aaron Milzinski from Canada.
Hi, I'm Erin Milzinski. I started skiing on snow and water before I was 2 years old. I was a better water skier than Alpine skier, and I went to the Junior Worlds for water skiing and the Junior Masters, but my heart was in the mountains. And so when I was 18, I was named to the Canadian ski team, and I spent 14 years racing for Canada. I competed in 4 Olympic Games. I stepped on the World Cup podium 2 times and the World Championship podium once, and I became the first Canadian woman to win a World Cup race in slalom in 41 years. For me, skiing was something I always loved to do. It was something that was part of my family. I loved everything about it, and so when I had to make the decision between water and mountains, I chose the mountains. I started skiing at Georgian Peak Ski Club. It's my home club. It's not very long, but it's steep, and we have a community that's just absolutely incredible. And I have one sister, and I would chase her around. She was really fast. I wanted to do everything she could do, and so when she started racing, I really wanted to race, and I was 5 years old. And you are only allowed to start racing at 6 years old, and so they actually put me into the race under another name because my sister was racing, so I wanted to race, and so I raced under another name. And we would drive up every weekend 2 hours to my cottage, and we would ski at Georgian Peaks. I started skiing in a very icy place where I'm from. There's no mountains, there's no powder, it's just a lot of ice, a lot of runs, and kind of built from there. We'd always go on family vacations. It was something we did as a family. I did it with my grandpa, I did it with my grandma, and my grandpa taught me how to tuck and how to do tuck turns, and so for me it was just everything with our family. We didn't ever have family dinner, we had family ski days. Both of my parents have quite high levels in coaching, especially my mom. And so they give us tips when we were on the hill. And my sister was a great skier, but an even better water skier. And so she chose water skiing where I chose alpine skiing. And so skiing runs deep in my family, but we have no Olympians. We have no really huge skiing legacy other than loving the sport and being one of the first members of my ski club. My ski story is a bit different because I didn't grow up wanting to win World Cups. I didn't grow up wanting to be an Olympian. I grew up loving to ski. I just wanted to get faster. My personality is when there's a challenge in front of me, I want to meet that challenge and get better. Yeah, I've been to 4 Olympic Games and every one was completely different. To compete in Olympics at home in Canada was something that very few people get to experience. Racing across the finish line and hearing people stomping their feet and cheering and shaking their cowbells, and even in the start they're yelling your name. You know, go Erin, let's go Canada, because you're in Canada and you're racing the Olympic Games. That I don't know if any Olympics will beat that, because that's something that very few people get to experience, and I will always cherish that. And this last Olympics in Beijing was really special because I knew it was my last, so I wanted to savor every moment. I really knew that it was my last game, so I hugged all my friends, I took part in closing ceremonies, and I really wanted to make it special. The lessons and everything that I can take away from that will last me my lifetime. And so every game's so special. I wish I wrote everything down to remember everything, but super important parts of my life. When I was in high school, I was still water skiing. I was water skiing and alpine skiing, so I missed more than half the days of school. Actually, they were a bit worried that the government would step in, because if you miss so much school, you fail the grade even if you have really high grades. And so I had really, really high grades, but I missed a lot of school for water skiing, a lot of school for alpine skiing, and I would have to make up everything on the road or during lunchtime at school. And so it was a little bit stressful when I was in high school, and I decided to take some time off after high school, and that's when I decided to retire from water skiing and focus on alpine skiing, focus on becoming the best that I could be in alpine skiing. And my first years on the team were really hard. It was really hard. We were in Europe all the time. We were moving between hotels kind of every 2 or 3 days. I made a lot of mistakes. I fell a lot. I ended up in second run courses on the first run. It was tough. It was tough coming up the ranks, and it was a lot of time away from the family. And I had never raced outside of North America before, and so it was eye-opening. I got crushed. I was not very good, but slowly I started kind of chipping away and started to rise, and there were a lot of failures in that rise, but I started to rise, and I started having top 15s in the World Cup and top 20s, and it was really exciting. And then finally, when I really broke out on the World Cup is the day that I won, and my previous best place was a 13th place, and so I was 100% the underdog. No one expected it, no one expected anything, and so to come down through the finish line, and I thought I was in 5th place, and it just so happened that the girls behind me made mistakes, and they moved behind me, and to become the first Canadian woman in 41 years to win a slalom race is really maybe was eye-opening for me. I always believed I could do it, but I think that was the day I believed that I belonged in that high-level competition and that my dreams could come true. When I coach younger athletes, they often ask me what was the race I was most nervous for. And the race I was most nervous for was the best race in my career. Doing this, I never make this movement, but kind of in disbelief that that this was happening to me, that this could be possible, and to break records. I mean, I didn't even know the record was there. I just kind of put one foot in front of the other, and that day I skied my race.
Here's a look at the women's semifinal brackets. The four-time Olympian Erin Milzinski taking on the local girl, Michelle Morozynski. First up, Morozynski and Milzinski.
And Milzinski is really getting the hang of this Pro Tour format. She's first and second in Steamboat Springs, really coming off some great results. Look at the power, look at the confidence coming down through the bottom. She's about 5 gates ahead, and she wins by 0.6 of a second. And Milzinski has been skiing with such confidence, such power. She just is accelerating from gate to gate. Easy, confident in the air, too, considering she was a silver medalist in World Juniors in water ski jumping. That's when you jump off the jump, not try to absorb it. But Milzinski's coming down to the bottom with ease. She'll come across that last and final jump, take a bullet, and she will advance to the finals.
Next up on Life in Between Gates, Erin Milzinski looks for her second victory of the 2023 season. To the finals.
Here is a place situated off the map of ordinary, a place that is independent, free-spirited, and intimate in scale. A place that since its first lift was installed over 60 years ago has strived to stay true to its roots while growing better rather than bigger. This vision for the future has helped make us the first ski resort in the world to earn B Corp certification. It's a symbol of where we're headed and what we stand for. We hope you will join us.
Introducing the first ever Mazda CX-50.
Life in Between Gates is brought to you by Surefoot, DNA Vibe, CBS Sports, Tough Shed, Mazda, and Taos, home of the 2023 World Pro Ski Tour World Championships.
Welcome back to beautiful Bear Valley, California. This is the women's final. Who wants it more? Who wants the $10,000? Will it be the four-time Canadian Olympian Erin Milzinski or the defending tour champion Tuva Norbe? Let's go to the top to the Mazda Start House. Tuva on the blue, Milzinski on the red.
Both of these ladies, no stranger to the top step of the podium on the World Pro Ski Tour, but this is it, the first run of the finals. It comes down to 2 runs to take a $10,000 check home. Milzinski out in front, coming to the line. She has the advantage of 48/100ths of a second.
And has almost a half a second advantage over Tuva going into this final run here at Bear Valley.
This is going to be a prize fight and a knockout coming down for the finish. Milzinski out in front. Watch how subtle she is off the jump. Quick landing and right on the skis. Razor sharp skis to cut through that slick surface. She's really accelerating from gate to gate. Tuva's going to have to push to make up some time. Milzinski coming down to the second jump. Our last jump on the bottom and comes down towards the finish. It'll be Milzinski. She will be the Mazda Far West Pro Classic champion.
Time now for the men's finals for $10,000. In the big final, the German David Ketterer taking on the Bolivian Olympian Simone Breitfuss-Kamelander. Now we have the first run of the finals, Kamelander versus Ketterer.
And Ketterer and Kamelander have been fired up all day long, pounding away. Look at that, Dan. Even at that point, Ketterer pulls out in front of Kamelander coming down to these final gates before the finish. It's Ketterer who will have the advantage going into the next round.
Ketterer wins it by .0.
It's a very long day for these guys that have reached the finals. This is it for $10,000. Simone Breitfuss-Kamelander challenging David Ketterer for $10,000.
And Simone fires once again like a rocket out of that start. Ketterer's gonna have to really push, really make some sweet carving arcs like knives into this ice, trying to generate as much power as you can. Ketterer moving in front of Kamelander, touching down first off the second bump. Kamelander makes a mistake. Ketterer's losing some time. Ketterer coming down to the line. It's Ketterer, the Mazda Far West Pro champion.
Oh, it was a difficult day. It was long. The hill was icy. The jumps are big, and it was hard to get direction because you can't see where the jumps land. But that's what makes it an amazing race.
It's been a long day, a lot of runs. Got bumpy in the end, but it was an awesome competition. I'm equally tired and happy. It's been a super long day, super tiring day, and it's a lot of runs if you go from qualifying, round of 16, round of 8, round of 4, and then the final. And you're trying to obviously just keep the pressure up and up and up. But I'm super happy. Walk away with the win, walk away with the 10 grand. It's fantastic.
I think that today gives me lots of confidence for tomorrow. It gives me a little bit, of ease to know that I can hit these jumps, that they're okay, my body feels okay, and slalom was my event, and so hopefully I'm just a little bit more comfortable on my skis tomorrow as well.
It's a sport with very tight margins, small margins, and you can always go out, and I know that. So I'm just trying to just give it my all again tomorrow, and I think I'm getting a little better at the starting thing, so that's going to help me. And then I'm just gonna run by run, do my thing.
What a day it was in Bear Valley. Erin Milzinski made it 2 first-place finishes in 3 races so far. She'll try to make it a clean sweep on day 2. On the men's side, David Ketterer was victorious and will be featured in our next edition of Life in Between Gates. He'll be joined by American Nolan Casper, looking to capture his first World Pro Ski Tour event since winning at Granby Ranch back in 2022. It all comes your way next time on Life in Between Gates.